Amish. There's the Mennonite. Hello. Now, in this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the strawberries that come from the Mennonite and the Amish communities in Tennessee, primarily. Now, I know that I just said Tennessee. These particular Mennonite variety of strawberries came from Section, Alabama. And that's where you're going to find the same kind of Mennonite that came from Delano, Inglewood, and Tellico Plains. These strawberries right here came from the Amish right here in Ethridge, Tennessee, where we bought these a couple days ago. But I'd like to do a little bit of a comparison because, and I'll show in the video, that you'll see there's quite a bit of difference in size and sometimes a little bit different flavor palette. Now, what do I mean by that is that the Amish strawberries, let me just kind of pick out the biggest one here and then the biggest one in the Mennonite. As you can tell, there's quite a bit of difference. Now that is the larger variety. Let me find kind of a middle size, kind of between the two, and you'll see even there that the middle of the Mennonite community is about as large as the largest in the Amish community. Now, of course, these will also go very small. And this is just happens to be the varieties that they grow. This is the smallest from the Mennonite. So it'll even show you there, the ones they pick happen to be both ripe, but just the Amish are going to be a little bit smaller. They're also going to be a little bit sweeter, and there's going to be a little bit more of an evenness to the flavor profile coming from the Amish strawberries. Now the Mennonite, not to say that they're bad, these strawberries tend to be larger, maybe a little less sweet, maybe a little more sour. The strawberryness, I guess, if you will, is a little bit more muted, and they're also really good. So it depends on which kind of strawberry flavor you like. I'm not going to say one is better than the others. Now, I tend to prefer the Amish strawberries. Maybe it's because I grew up at Ethridge. I'm a little bit partial because, you know, I have these more often. But I will say that they are a little bit different in the varieties that they tend to grow. Now, sometimes because of their flavor profile, if you bake cakes, if you have pies, if you make a preserve, that's going to dictate kind of what kind of flavor palette that's going to come out. So make sure to pick which one wisely, depending on what your final outcome tends to be. So if you're just going to be snacking on them, I can see how this would go really well for just eating them, like, well, as you can tell, we've been doing. Now, if you're making something where it needs to cut through a certain flavor, or you want to add it with other flavors, that's where these really come in. So if you have a type dish that requires a more pungent, more sour tasting strawberry, then this is going to be the one that's going to cut through a little bit better. So anyway, that is kind of my take on the Amish versus Mennonite variety of strawberries. Now, the strawberries that we tend to see in the more older order communities, like these in Section, Alabama, this will be Delano, Inglewood, Tellico Plains, tend to be the larger ones. Now, if you go more towards the Fall Creek community, they tend to get kind of in the middle between the two of them. Over in the Cane Creek, Lobelville area, this is going to be the Russell Creek, and then the ones over on next to the Cane Creek Market. Now, there's a lot of good nurseries, a lot of good stuff over there. They tend to have one that's, I guess, a little bit closer to the Amish. Now, also, depending on who grows them, obviously a Mennonite is just as capable of growing these variety as the Amish do. So it'll just depending on what field they came from and what plants they planted that produces these different style. You might find an Amish person that grew this particular strain of strawberries, so that's going to kind of indicate kind of where you can go. Now, could you find both of these in an Amish or Mennonite community? Absolutely, you know what I mean? So there might be a row of each in there somewhere. So get yourself some Amish or Mennonite strawberries at your next Amish community. Now, if you'd like to know where some of those are, check out the Ethridge.com, where I do have a lot about the Amish and Mennonite communities here in Tennessee, where I showcase different places where you can find them, locate a community, visit that community, sort of what roads they're on. Now, as to which one grows strawberries is anybody's guess. I mean, depending on sometimes the seasonality, what they want to do as a family, what they want to grow might be different year to year. But if you just drive through the community, you'll probably see it on a sign somewhere that talks about their growing strawberries. Usually you'll see a bunch of cars already parked in their driveway, which tells you they probably got strawberries. So anyway, while it's April and May, you're going to find a lot of strawberries in one of these communities. Now, what I'd like for you to do is to like and subscribe and to become a member here. You know, follow us, see if we got other kind of videos. We're going to talk about squash. We're going to talk about pumpkins and watermelons and all kinds of different variety. And we're going to have some comparisons because each one of them grows a little bit different strain or variation. And that soil that they are planted in is going to dictate kind of what kind of, you know, vegetables and fruits that they're going to have. So this is Mike, and I would love to see you in the next video, but you're going to have to click on our name and see what other videos that we have at the time while you're watching this one. Anyway, I hope to see you in that video. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.